To the crisis report. It is May 19th, 2025. Monday. Trying to keep it at 11 o'clock every night. So, doing our best. Probably going to be going live with PrepperNow afterwards. Not for a long one, just a little half hour kind of thing. I like going live. I gotta admit, it's easier just all the way around. So, this one is entitled Israel Alone. A lot of countries are coming out and they're saying, basically we're going to isolate you. And so your feelings are your feelings. I'm just going to take you through all of the important information that will show why Israel is basically isolated at this point by a lot of different, things. And it's interesting. Europe is really starting to turn its back. There's a report out that, Trump is supposedly saying, hey, I'm at my final straw, but it's from Washington Post. And Amir Sarfati says this is crap. It's not real. It's fake. And he points out that it's an anonymous source, basically, the way they did it, So, totally possible. We all know the way mainstream media rolls and all that. So, it is hard for me to believe that Israel is going to be iced out from our administration. Now, Trump, of course, is going to play both sides, but, I don't think that Israel is going to be completely isolated. I think America is, unless something very weird happens. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But Israel is getting a lot of pressure from a lot of different groups. They had a major thing today in Khan Yunis, supposedly trying to extract, it looked like they were trying to extract hostages. And it didn't end up extracting anyone. If anything, they took out one of the Hamas, big dudes, or, some with a name, price tag on their head. I don't know. So that was being reported as well. And yeah, it's getting interesting. So we'll see. There's also talks about Putin and Zelensky, getting together for a ceasefire, and it's going to happen. No, it's not. It is. It's not. It is. It's all over the place. Not much on Iran right now. So that's what's going on. All right. So we're at the 3-minute mark. Got some kids in the room, and let's start to get down with the crisis report. Okay, most comprehensive news on YouTube. Here we go. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy hit with class action lawsuit over alleged misleading statements regarding risks and profitability. Friends, if you're investing, there's going to be risks. Blue Cord Devil, thanks for being around for so long, dude. Starmer claims that Britain is back on the world stage. Okay, sure. Trump hints the Vatican may host the Russia-Ukraine peace talks. I guess we'll see about that. As confirmed by other data, Gen Z are now the most right-leaning generation in Europe politically. Percentage of Gen Z men voting for parties considered as far right in Europe is 25% when they hit age 30, whilst the Gen Z women 20% at the same age. It is a changing continent because people are reading the writing on the wall. But the Chega party in Portugal had a big day yesterday for their politics. They were formed in 2019, and now they're the second largest party. So this is the thing. Gen Z is much more political. Gen Alpha is much more political to the right. So youngins like what's cool, and establishment is not cool. So when the establishment is all progressive people, it's not cool to the youngins. And you're seeing a political shift. And then, of course, all the other stuff that goes along with it that I don't have to detail here. Progressivism is not seen as cool. It's just not. The other side of things are the right-leaning, is seen as what's cool. So, and I love how it's all hard right. I mean, I've said this many times. Trump is just a '90s Democrat. You know, nothing is far right. If anything, things have gone to the left, and you've got left and center left with a little bit of float into the right. Like we're not, hardcore right by any way. You know, they go far right, far right. You know, we've talked about that for a long time. Actually, if you really look at it, I mean, it's more centrist with a little bit of lean to the right, if anything. It's not far right. Having sovereignty is not a far right concept. At least it didn't used to be, but now it is, according to our friends on the left. But, when you look at the youngins and their generation, the people on the left, the progressives, and I do not call them liberal. They are not liberal. They got problems. They got a lot of things that are going on, and the more they tighten their grip, the more youngin star systems slip through their fingers. Confirmed by other data. They are the farthest leaning to the right. Taiwan decommissioned its last nuclear reactor, entering the last phase of its nuclear-free homeland energy policy. 2024, Taiwan imported 97% of its energy, making its energy-intensive industries potentially vulnerable to blockade. Hillary Clinton slammed Trump for insisting that Americans have more kids, arguing that, what immigrants are for. Yeah. We need kids, okay? It is what it is. So whether it's immigrants or it's natives, just we're having it's called TFR. It's the replacement thing. Like in our family, we have a positive TFR. I've got 3 children to my wife and I, okay? And most people are having 1 child. So that's a negative TFR. In fact, we're at about 1.3, I think it is, 1.3 or 1.2 on the TFR. So we are declining. Japan, we're going to be covering them. They've got major problems because they're not reproducing. So this whole thing that we're not, we're gonna have a population death, everything. No, it's not happening that way. We're actually cresting and trending down. So it is what it is. Tornado outbreak day 2 feature potentially strong long track tornadoes in eastern Oklahoma. Metro could be at risk too. I do not miss living in the Midwest with the tornado stuff. U.S. President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha have met Pope Leo XIV, St. Peter's Basilica after the Mass for his inauguration. California Governor Gavin Newsom is reportedly gearing up for a 2028 presidential bid. If nominated as a Democratic candidate, he would likely compete against J.D. Vance. Housing affordability has rarely been worse. 94 million American households cannot afford a $400,000 home, according to a National Association of Home Builders analysis. By comparison, the estimate of a new house is $460,000. To put this differently, 70% of the U.S. households cannot afford a typical priced home. Concerningly, 53 million households cannot even afford a house priced at $200,000 or more. Meanwhile, there are only 22.4 million houses in the U.S. valued at less than $2. So we have a massive, massive housing imbalance. Oh, this is excellent. This link, if there's anything about the crisis report that's worth it, it's the links and https://PrepperNow.substack.com. This ODYSEE letter is fantastic. They do really good economic stuff if you're into the nerdy economic stuff. The doom. All right, housing nope, that's a doubler. Sorry. Russia digs trenches near NATO's border. Finland prepares for the worst. Moscow is rapidly building up its military presence near the Finnish border. Satellite images have revealed new bases, hangars for fighter jets, and helicopter pads in areas that were recently just overgrown fields. in empty lands. According to the NATO and Finnish military sources, the Kremlin is preparing for a post-Ukraine reality. The unemployment or the redeployment of thousands of troops at EU's borders is the next step. Helsinki, I saw that, Taz. I didn't get to read it, so I'll read it. If you're in here, put in the chat, dude. Helsinki warns that the number of Russian troops near its border could triple within the next 5 years, and judging by the current pace, the wait might not be long. Have been following the developments in Gaza Strip for the past few hours. This is Aquila, and he's got an worldwide population under 7% of the planet. Taz, you're not wrong. Got it through my computer. I know what you're saying, and I agree. So, anyway, moving on. Have been following the developments in the Gaza Strip for the past few hours. I can now confirm Israeli special forces in coordination with the Shin Bet carried out a possible extraction mission in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza in the past hour. The operation was meant to be a kill and extract mission, but as of now, it's very likely only a kill mission. As of now, there is no confirmation on the extraction of hostages. The notion of the special operation is still unclear. Visuals show an underground tunnel raided by the Israeli special forces. Reportedly, one senior Hamas member has been killed. So this is what happened in Khan Yunis. It was kind of a big story today for a while. I don't know. There's a lot going on in Israel. So Russia's largest agricultural machinery manufacturer, Rostashmelsh, announced on Friday, May 16th, that it would furlough 15,000 of its employees for the month of June due to slumping exports and a sustained market downturn. Company whose headquarters are in Rostov-on-Don, near the Ukrainian border, cited a drastic decline in demand over the past 3 years as the reason. French President Macron held a telephone conversation with U.S. President Trump, after which he demanded that Russia leader Putin agree to an unconditional ceasefire in Ukraine, according to his page on social media network X. According to him, during a conversation with the U.S. President, Vladimir Putin must show that he wants peace by accepting the 30-day unconditional ceasefire proposed by President Trump and supported by Ukraine in Europe. Bloomberg, Germany, and its allies are working on a new round of sanctions aimed at forcing Russia to agree to a ceasefire. The government in Berlin is constantly reviewing and revising its options for sanctions against Russia. Government has said whether the U.S. will join sanctions depends on the outcome of a phone call scheduled for Monday between Trump and Putin. We have that here. It was a 2-hour phone call. U.S. threatens to cut off military and economic aid to Israel if it does not stop the war in the Gaza Strip after a phone call between Trump and Macron, according to the Washington Post. Close advisor of the Kremlin told Bloomberg that Putin is trying to maneuver to ensure the continuation of negotiations while the military attack continues. Putin is confident that his forces will be able to breach Ukraine's defenses by the end of the year. Israel demolishes Indonesian hospital in northern Gaza, where more than 50 people are trapped, according to Al Jazeera. New Chinese unmanned drone carrier aircraft is entering the military in June. Unmanned aircraft developed by China, known as the Zhuqiang SS UAV, is preparing for its maiden flight in June. With a range of 7,000 kilometers, platform is designed to function as an airborne launch hub capable of deploying over 100 miniature drones for carrying a payload of up to 1 ton of missiles while cruising at 15,000 meters. Well, that sounds deadly AF. Japan's prime minister says his country's financial situation is worse than that of Greece. Worse than Greece. Benjamin Netanyahu says that Israel will take control of Gaza Strip. China's Ministry of Commerce announced that tariffs of up to 75% will be imposed on plastic products imported from the United States, the European Union, EU, and Japan and Taiwan. These rates range from 3.8% to 74.9% tariff. Israel's Minister of Finance, Smotrich, says we are destroying everything that remains of Gaza, and our army will not leave a single stone unturned. Kremlin says Romania's presidential elections were strange because all candidates were not allowed to run. I don't know what happened, but it was weird. You can believe what you believe. Russia will achieve the goals of its special operation, but it is preferable to achieve them through political and diplomatic means, according to the Kremlin. Chinese kill switches capable of crippling power grids have been found in equipment at U.S. solar farms. Devices, including hidden cellular radios, were discovered in Chinese-made inverters used to connect solar panels and wind turbines to grids worldwide. Now, every prepper channel on YouTube has done a video about this. Everything that you get from China is going to have this kind of crap in it. Just, it is what it is. Japan's debt dilemma. It's worse than Greece. 263% gross debt to GDP. Rising interest costs and a rapidly aging population. Japan faces serious fiscal challenges. That is America 2050. Earlier this month, U.S. Air Force Brigadier General Doug Wickert warned civic leaders near Edwards Air Force Base that a Chinese attack on Taiwan could bring massive disruption to their region from the outset. Quote, if this war happens, it's going to happen here, Wickert said. He noted that critical targets like Northrop Grumman factories, which produce the B-21 Raider bomber, could face strikes. He's talking about China striking mainland America. Romania's interim president, Ilie Bolojan, signed laws allowing the downing of drones in Romanian airspace. U.S. Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to revoke temporary protection for approximately 350,000 Venezuelans. USS Truman has left the Red Sea and is en route to the United States. Yemen's Houthis have decided to impose a naval blockade on Israel's Haifa port, adding to it their target list. So, Haifa's already basically bankrupt. Netanyahu says the condemnation of Israel by London, Ottawa, and Paris is a huge reward for Hamas. We're going to get to that here in a moment. Indonesian volcano erupted with a kilometer-high ash cloud. Big eruption. WHO chief says 2 million people are starving in Gaza. JP Morgan says, CEO Jamie Dimon says, I am not a fan of Bitcoin. Newark Airport suffered another radio outage as FAA issues a ground delay over staffing issues. Man, I hope to God you are not flying out of there. Over 30 strikes in Khan Yunis since the morning hours. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, from the beginning of the war, we said that in order to complete the victory, there was one necessary condition. We must not reach a state of starvation in Gaza. They will not support us if we reach that point. We will take control of all the territories of the Gaza Strip. There is tremendous, intense fighting there. Our fighters are doing a great job there, including this morning. I can't go into details, he said. It's getting thick. White House spokeswoman says the Trump administration is in contact with all sides regarding the war in Gaza. President Trump made it clear to Hamas that he wants all hostages released. And then she also said, we are 100% committed to the red line that Envoy Wyckoff outlined, that Iran will not be able to enrich uranium. We have also made this clear in our talks with the Iranians. Prime Minister Netanyahu responded to a threat from leaders of Britain, France, and Canada. He said, by demanding that Israel end an existential defensive war because of Hamas terrorists are eliminated on our borders, and by demanding the establishment of a Palestinian state, leaders in London, Ottawa, and Paris are placing a huge reward for the October 7th annihilation attack on Israel and inviting further atrocities. The war began on October 7th when Palestinian terrorists breached our borders, murdered 1,200 innocent people, and kidnapped more than 250 more to the basements of Gaza. Israel accepts President Trump's vision and calls on all European leaders to do so. The war could end tomorrow. If all the hostages are returned, Hamas lays down its arms, its murderous leaders are exiled, and the Gaza Strip is demobilized. No country can expect less, and certainly not Israel. This is a war between civilization and barbarism. Israel will continue to defend itself by just means until complete victory is achieved. Another populist breakthrough in Europe, this time in Portugal. Portugal has been dominated by two center-left parties for half a decade. But today, the nationalist Chega party has broken that and finished second in a national election. Chega was only established in 2019, so this is an incredible result. Spoke to representative of Chega at the Remigration Summit yesterday and was very impressed. Remigration is coming. Australian MP David Littleproud has announced the National Party of Australia will not renew their coalition agreement with the Liberal Party following the Conservative coalition defeat in the last election. Littleproud says the Nationalists will now sit alone. For the first time since World War II, Australia is no longer a two-party system. Now, I don't know a lot, and I've got a friend in the back who will hopefully explain this, one of my subscribers from Australia, love her. Having one party system, which is what I'm getting out of this, and maybe I'm wrong, isn't good. You need two functioning parties. You need choice. In fact, you don't need parties at all. You just need people that have different ideas. So, I don't know. Yeah, not good. Dr. Zeke Emanuel claims that Joe Biden likely had cancer during his time in office, possibly even from the beginning of his presidency. I agree with that. Democrats are demanding President Trump's DOJ drop all investigation into the Biden family, using his cancer diagnosis as justification. There are numerous people in prison right now with cancer. We don't let them go free. We look and we find what's bad and we fix it. U.S. Senate has confirmed Charles Kushner, Jared Kushner's new ambassador to France. And for months, major retailers have been sounding the alarm about impending price increases, and now the reality is hitting store shelves. Insider reports from Target employees reveal significant price hikes on everyday items, with some products jumping by as much as 80%. These increases, largely attributed to new tariffs tied to President Donald Trump's trade policies, are raising concerns amongst consumers and industry leaders alike. As prices climb at stores like Target, Walmart, and beyond, the ripple effects of these tariffs are becoming impossible to ignore. A Target employee posting on Reddit under anonymity recently shared evidence of a dramatic price increase for a USB-C cord from the retailer's in-house Heyday brand. Previously priced at $9.99, the cord now scans at $17.99, staggering 80% jump. Worker, who included a photo of the updated price tag, warned, "It's happening, all of Heyday is going up." This isn't an isolated incident, but part of a broader trend affecting Target's product lines, driven by the latest wave of tariffs impacting global supply chains. So, prices will be increasing. You need to act accordingly, okay? It's going to get interesting out there, okay? Our prices are going to be going up for numerous reasons. It's not just a tariff, it's all kinds of stuff. We've also suffered through years of money printing. So we've got inflation. So I hope you're stacking. I hope you're stocking, and I hope you're sticking to your plan, okay? If you like what we're doing here, maybe you want to become a member like Amanda Evanson, the hippie homestead. I like that. Love to have you here. It does help. It's $2 a month, and if something important comes, I break it. It's just a way to kind of say, hey, thanks so much for doing this little something for the effort. But the intel keeps flowing, okay? And I'm going to go on over to PrepperNow. We're going to do it over there. So please hit the like button, do the subscribe thing, darken out the bell, and we will see you tomorrow night on the next one.